Hello there folks, and welcome back to the Chaps Guide, the channel where we go on a journey of exploration into the topics of men's style, self-development and personal grooming. Now a little while ago I was approached by an online tailors called Hockerty. Now this may be a name which is familiar to many of you. Hockerty has been around for somewhat over 10 years now. They have served well over 250,000 online customers, and it was started originally by 3 young men, entrepreneurs, whose goal it was to provide financially easily accessible, made to measure clothes via an easily used online portal, and Hockerty was born. Now up to this point, as far as I'm aware, Hockerty has provided mostly tailored clothing, but just recently they'd started creating customizable footwear. And they approached the Chaps Guide channel and asked if I would be interested in reviewing a pair of their shoes. Now they have covered the cost of the boots that I'm about to order, but they are in no way asking me to give any sort of favourable review. So it's entirely editorially independent. It's just that they are providing me with a pair of boots to be reviewed. I think it's important you're aware of that. So I'm about to jump online and I'm going to see what we can get, and we can then give it a good review. I'm going to look at it, I'm going to wear it for a few weeks, and then I'll come back to you with my overall assessment of a pair of boots from Hockerty. Let's see what they've got. Okay, so here we are on the online Hockerty portal where we get to choose whatever we like. So I'm going to go for their new section, the shoes, and I've already got an idea of what I would like. It's going to be the Chukka boot, so I can go straight to the Chukka boot. A huge selection of opportunity here to pick things and incredibly personalize them, which is somewhat unique, I think. But I'm going for Chukka. I say unique unless you get into the bespoke world. So you're presented with something of a simple initial template, and then we click the customize button, and this is where we get to go to town with our imagination. So we click on the style, and I'm chosen Chukka. I'm gonna stay with a plain toe cap, but there are other options as well. And I am going to have some broguing, because I like to think that broguing adds a bit of personality to the shoes. And as you can see, as I add my options here, they are represented in the template that we see before us. 3 different types of sole available on this boot, and I'm going to go for the rubber. But if I was to choose the leather or the non-slip leather option, a little bit of a premium each time we add some personalization. What else do we have? We can choose whether to have 1 or 2 pieces of leather facing it. I'm going to go for the 2 because I think it adds a bit of dimensionality to the boot. A pull loop to help it on or off. I'm not going to have a pull loop. Going to save me £3, but also it's going to keep the boot looking quite minimalist, which is definitely something I'm looking for. And you can even choose, this is great, you can choose what colour laces you want to have. So I've got an idea of the end boot colour that I'm going to have, so I've chosen burgundy, but if I wanted to I could go for a light brown if you want to personalise it, red, black, whatever. That's interesting. Black, or whatever you feel will be appropriate for the end colour that you're going for. So I'm going to stick with burgundy there for me. And this is what I like as well. You have a choice of 4 different eyelets you can choose. So I'm going to go for vintage brass, keeping it quite simple. There we go. Now, probably the most important area is how you're going to, or the material that you're going to choose for your boot. And it doesn't have to be made of all the same material. There is the option to truly customize this, to have one part one color, one part another color. But I'm not that brave, so I'm going to go for all pieces being Italian leather, and you get a host of different colors here available now in different types of leather, different quality. So you can have the basic leather, or move up, as I'm going to, into the Italian calf leather, which is an extra £8. But I've already decided I'm going for the burgundy or the ox blood color. All different colors available here. Interesting little blue color, but I'm going for the ox blood, and that is what I'm gonna choose today. That is essentially the boot that I'm going to pick. Now, before I press the button, you can of course have suedes as well. Different suede colours, also quite attractive. But some of the remarkable options here, you can have a little bit of little bit of canvas. You can have an entirely canvas boot if you want. And if you recall, as I said earlier, you can go back to the options area here, and you can have some of the boot made of leather, some of the boot made of canvas, and as you can see, your customization options are as broad as your ability to stomach these various different colors that you can have. So I am not going to push the boundaries. I'm going for my all one piece, and all made of the nice, better quality Italian calf leather. And there's my boot. Chukka boot. It's going to cost £196. I'm going to order it now, and I look forward with bated breath to see what this boot looks like when it arrives in its expected 2 to 3 weeks. So, fingers crossed, let's see what turns up. So there we go. I think I've picked something that I can easily find a space for in my shoe wardrobe, and something which will fit in with many of my other clothes, and will of course allow me the opportunity to wear it and give it a good test, so that I can come back to you with an honest and genuine appraisal of the product which is provided. Now, it's quite modestly priced, so perhaps I'm not expecting the world, but we will see in a few weeks or so when we expect to see our boots arriving at the doorstep. So let's see what they come up with. Right, here's our box, just come in the post, as we say, some 3 weeks after the original order. Let's find out what little surprise we have from Hockerty. Sturdy packaging, and we have a interior box. Let's get that out. Oh, here we go. So, very obviously, you can tell where it's come from. Let's find out what we've got inside. Oh, little delights have we here. So, we seem to have a very large drawstring bag made of some synthetic material. Very nice. Don't quite know how that's going to be pressed into service with the boots. And here's the boots all wrapped in tissue paper, little Hockerty fastening sticker there. Let's see what they actually look like. Here we go. So, there we are. Good colour, good solid burgundy oxblood colour. Perhaps if I take the other one out. So, sturdy box, and the boots have come very much as I might have expected. Nice sturdy colour, sturdy boot. Let's have a proper look at it. It's been packed with foam. So, let's have a proper look. Okay, so I've stepped outside so I can see these Hockerty boots in the best possible natural sunlight. It's a nice sunny spring afternoon today, so I can see them in the best way I can. And the first thing that strikes me is the colour. This is a really good delivery of a burgundy. I would say certainly more burgundy than oxblood. And yeah, I can see that's going to look really nice. Such a versatile colour, oxblood and burgundy. They go so well with so many of one's clothing. I quite like the broguing on the toe cap. It looks very well executed, and not too much, not too little. Nice, clean, centred on the toe. I should say I think the toe is quite an almond shape. It's coming to quite a point. A little bit different to what I might ordinarily have chosen, but yeah, this is all about trying something different, so pleased to try that. I like it. The fact that it's a little different to what I've already got in the wardrobe will add some value to it, I think, for me. Now, flipping the sole over, or looking underneath at the sole rather, I went for that rubber option, living here in the UK as I do, a damp, cold climate, and I'm very pleased. It's, you know, it is a version of the famous day-night sole. To look at it, and yeah, it looks quite tough. It's strong to look at and feel. Now I can see the channel where there's stitching which presumably attaches the upper to the sole. I know that these shoes connect the sole and the upper by way of either a Blake stitch or a Blake rapid stitch. Now, though that is not, you know, my personal preference. I would prefer a Goodyear welt, but the Blake stitch or rapid stitch is, you know, the next best thing out there. At the end of the day, it is a mechanical grip between both the upper and the sole. We're not talking about gluing or cementing here. This is a good, solid, mechanically stitched boot, which is going to stand up to the test of time, and it could, in theory, be resold should it require that. And looking at the general execution of the shoe itself, the boot, it looks fairly good quality, I have to say. It smells as a brand new shoe should. The inside is nicely covered with a neutral coloured sock of leather, which looks rather nice. I can see now those little details I selected, like the vintage brass eyelets, those burgundy laces, you remember, they're all there. That extra facing, which I asked for. The customization options were, as you saw, limitless. I went for quite a simple boot at the end of the day, and what they have been presented with here looks rather good. So now, next phase, I'm going to try it on, I'm going to wear it for a couple of weeks, and I'm going to come back and give you my overall assessment of the Hockerty Chukka boot, having selected it and worn it for a couple of weeks. So I'll see you in a moment. Hello, 2 weeks have passed. Isn't it amazing? And in those 2 weeks, I have worn these Hockerty Chukka boots every single day. Now, every morning I take a mile walk before I start work from home, just so I can get my mind into the right gear, walk around my village, and I've worn these boots every day, whether it was raining, freezing, or lovely and sunny as it is on this spring afternoon. And the boots have performed perfectly well as I would have expected any Chukka utility boot to do its job. What can I say about the boot? Well, the leather, as you know, I paid a slight premium to have the better quality leather, and I'm so glad that I did, because the leather is soft, yielding, very comfortable, straight out of the box. Did it need much of a break-in? Hardly at all. As you might expect with any boot, at the back here, you know, the Achilles area, it is a little stiff when you first start to wear it, a little bit of rubbing, chafing in the heel area, but in no time at all, it's settled down. And, you know, I've probably put 12, 15 miles on these boots, and now I would consider them to be entirely broken in. Yeah, so more than happy with that phase of the boot. So how have I found the styling? Well, as you know, my initial thought was that the toe box might be a little too pointed than my usual utility boot. I often wear a pair of Chini Chukka boots, and they're a very traditional rounded last. This, a little bit more pointed, but actually, having worn it for a few weeks, I now come to acknowledge that it's probably a little bit more fashion forward than my traditional day-to-day boots. So yes, no problem with the styling. I think they are quite stylish, quite classical in the same way, but also they have that little more contemporary, slightly more pointed toe on this last, which I think would probably suit people across the widest range of wearing styles, whether you're wearing it casually with perhaps jeans, or whether you're pressing into service these boots with, you know, maybe a suit, or a pair of chinos with a blazer or a sports jacket. I think the styling has got it covered. So what's my final summary of my experience with Hockerty? Well, to start with, the ordering process was simple, straightforward, and I found it easy to navigate. The boots came about 2.5 to 3 weeks later, delivered to the door, exactly as they appeared to be when I ordered them. No arguments there, they were great. The boots themselves on inspection are good quality. I know that they're made in Spain, a country with a good heritage and a tradition of making quality men's footwear. They're well made. They're made of good components. And I've enjoyed wearing them. They've been comfortable and they look good. And the other thing, the ace in the sleeve really, is that customization. I don't think you could actually find, and I've looked, I don't think you can find a customization service for men's footwear which you can nail down such specific elements of your footwear and at the price point that we achieved here. So under £200, and there were probably 20 or 30 separate decisions I had to make in the selection process, which would have affected the end product. and I'm very pleased with what's come out at the end. So from that regard, first class. Do I think they're better than British boots made in Northamptonshire? No, I don't. You know, if you're looking at Cheney, Church, Crockett and Jones, they produce a better boot, but they cost many times more. So when it comes to that regard, Hockerty give you a great boot at a fantastic price point, which can be unique to your personal customization. And from that regard, I think they've delivered on their promise to give me a great pair of boots at a price which I'm more than happy to pay for the product which is on the table. So there we go. That's my appraisal, my independent assessment of these Hockerty Chukka boots. I hope you've enjoyed this review video. If you have, don't forget give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and give me some comments in the comment section below. I love to hear from you. Well, I look forward to seeing you again very soon in whatever footwear you're wearing to get you through this nice springtime. And I bid you farewell, take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon.